Okay, on this episode, we head back over to Dodge Country where we start flaring the driver's side front fender of the race truck project. So we ended up and got more flare on the driver's side than the passenger side, and we like the driver's side better. So we're going to have to go back and redo the passenger side to make it match. The driver's side turned out pretty good. And then towards the end of the video, show you a recap of what we done earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday, where we showed you how much the springs were cut and the shock mount. So let's jump right to it. Welcome to Bad Habit Garage. Show you the before and after. Look at this. You can't get your finger in between the tire and the fender. So you get some do some slicing and dicing. What you doing?
I just doing a little first day with some right X. They don't like to see blood on there, so it's not that bad. It don't hurt a lot, but it hurts a little bit.
So you gonna cry?
I ain't gonna cry about it.
Oh, look at it, fellas. You crying, boy? You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger and some French fries. How about a Weineken? You little sissy boy! The Def Leppard sucks!
After a few minutes delay for a little injury,
I only got a couple of seconds. I ain't gonna cry about it no more.
We back to company. See, folks, that's why whenever you're working with sharp metal, you make sure you keep your gloves up here on the top where they're supposed to be.
Where'd that come from? Where'd you find them at? Okay, I'll wear them. But I need something like up in here. I'll be bleeding everywhere. Sharp metal, damn, burned my finger a while ago. It's hot too, right? You grind it. Oh well, it's one of those Saturday things.
Now you got the gloves on after he didn't get cut.
Now slicing the dang arm off. Alright. This would be the little, instead of making little pie cut pieces of metal, I'm just gonna take a piece of brass. This is an old 2-inch brass nipple that something from like Home Depot. Buy it, hack it up into little pieces, and brass makes a good little background. The weld don't stick to it, and clamp it into place, and it'll give you something to weld to. This is a pretty wide little gap here, so I'm gonna try to fill it with just welder wire. See what it does. We all learning. This section here, it was a cut, so we got it welded up with this same technique here. So it was a little narrower than this gap, but we'll try it. Let's see what happens. Ain't gonna hurt a thing. Just clamped on, pull it together. Try to hit it down here on the widest spot first. Ooh. Beating out all my wire. See what we can get now. Go ahead and burn my legs so I can cry some more. The brass was gonna stick there.
Hot brass.
Hot, baby. Well, it worked out. It wasn't the best. I don't suggest anybody trying to do the fill a 1/2 inch gap. It just took a lot more running around back and forth and trying to fill it, and you know, you can't get a good consistency with the thickness of the metal when you're trying to lay the beads in there like that across a wide span. But 1/4 inch, like you cut it like in a narrow spot, it's fine. It just, you know, put the brass behind it, clamp it, just pull it on down, and it worked out good. But the 1/2 inch gap down here, it was too much. So little filler metal piece, it would have been a lot quicker and better. But for what this thing's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a toy. It's not, it's gonna be a race truck. It ain't expected to be perfectly straight, smooth, and it's never gonna be. So yeah, I like that old, like the flare on this side. So I think the plan's gonna be where the other side, it's like when I pulled these out and I cut them up so far, it's like the metal popped and it actually bent and creased right here instead of just pulling out and slowly getting the curve to it. It actually popped, and it just works. It gives it way more of a flared look. So yeah, we cut a little slot down here too to bring that out. Gonna have to do some more figuring on this area because it's sort of concave in. But we'll keep doctor on this, and I think we're going to continue going across and all our little seams. This one section with the rust hole, just like the other side, same spot on the other side, got a rust hole. We'll cut out a piece of sheet metal and make us a little filler panel and weld it in, and keep curving it on around and keep welding it up. If it's a wider gap, we'll put a filler strip in it, but I believe this is going to work out. You're going to have to do some hammering and dollying on these areas here after I get the backside ground down. But yeah, I think this side's going to be the way to go. Then I can put the little wire, the little stick of wire we got from Tractor Supply, I can take and spot weld it in, and it'll have a nice smooth radius edge. So if it does tire ever does bump it or something, it won't be sharp, and it'll just rub and keep on going, won't ever damage the tire. So, but yep, it's rigid again. So cool. All right, now we gotta adjust these coils one more time. You can see I didn't when we done one time, and then like a week or two later, we're like, okay, let's put the other side together, and then I was a 1/2 coil out. So the driver's side was actually a taller coil than the left side that we were using to get our heights. So that one actually needs one more 1/2 round off of the passenger side coil and one full round. Let's see, that'll be one full round will be back over to here, but for the same height, we're just going to match both coils. We're just going to whack them and hope for the best. So let's adjust these up, stick them back in and see where we're sitting, in case this works.
All right.
So it's just under 9 inches.
So now we got the springs cut and they're matched, and this is what we're
just under 9.
So we're going to put that in there and see what happens, and that way you know how much was cut off. All right, let's put them in there and see what happens.
The top of here, we got both of them dead even at 3 inches from the top of the cap upwards. And you notice this is probably roughly going to be ride height, and our upper control arms aren't pointed to the moon anymore. We're just a little bit up from level, maybe a 1/2 inch up from level. So all of this jazz here has worked as far as that aspect of it. So I'm tickled that we're close to the ride height. We've still got plenty of spring. You can probably show them the little the shock that we come up with.
All right,
That's just for mock-up, that is an A-body Chrysler front 90-10 drag shock, but the dimensions are the same as a regular shock. But we just roughed that in. The little tab you got to cut off on the van lower control arms, where that little tab you cut off, pretty much centered a bolt, a 1/2 inch bolt. Got the measurements to where the part of the bolt that was not threaded was a certain amount. That's to be determined for everybody else. I reckon to figure out, slipped the bolt through the backside, welded it in here on the inside of the lower control arm, made a little gusset right here, has some sort of 1/8 inch sheet metal, and welded a washer to it. The top side, we just threw another longer bolt in it, and these shims like you get from Speedway Motors or Tractor Supply, you can get them and cut them yourself. And we just made this quickie little 3/8 threaded rod coupling and welded it to one of those, is it a 3/4 or 1 inch spacer, and just to try it. But as you can see, our shock's working. The flopping noises is all this stuff that's loose. The shock ain't bound out. So that's about as low as we're going to go. The shock's still got some more travel left in it. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty cool. It's we're going to have to get it, put our nylock on the backside, a nylock nut and a washer, and cut off the excess, so when we turn, our turn radius might be limited some. It'll come over so far and it get close to that bolt. Once we cut off all that extra 1.25 of thread we don't need, but you'll be pretty much locked anyway. But we'll have to end up welding a limiter on it, so it won't go over, and you know, you wouldn't want to be somewhere cutting victory donuts and cut your inside tire down, you know. So, but yeah, it's working out, and man, we got it nowhere near all the weight on the front of the truck. She's sitting down and looking aggressive. So pretty much, yeah, a 10-inch wheel will fit, and the 255/70 15 tire will blow up on a 15 by 10 rim. And the whole reason for that was the stock car look, you know, 28-inch tire. So it had to have a tall sidewall for what I'm doing. But for general street use, you don't need a 10-inch wide wheel, but hey, go big. And just hack your fenders out. If it's a old patina truck, just hack them out, pull them out, weld your rod around there, weld up your slots, weld them back up if it ain't got to be nothing perfect. Or you can do, you can go all out and flare your fenders, cut you new pieces of metal if you wanted to, and do it like they used to build NASCAR bodies. Roll it in the, what's the English wheel?
English wheel and
shrinker, stretcher, but I don't have that, so we're going the cut and splice method. But yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit more clearancing, but that's as easy as old tug there, and it just grew another 3/4 of an inch. So yeah, I'm liking it. So here we go so far. At least we got the height the same on both sides, and the coils are cut right. Sweet. Hey, did you notice last week when we were carrying the front end in, you got to noticing that headlight was full of water? And yeah, it is. It's not full, but it's got a lot in it. But yeah, there's no wiring in here, so we're gonna see if it still burns. Yeah, what do you think? You think it works?
it should work. It's floodlight.
Yeah, dang him if it don't. Look at there. Look at that water. Liquid cooled headlights, baby. It's the wave of the future.
That must be the full line. It's on the full.
You gotta check that, but we'll check the blinker fluid next week. Walk around with it.
All right, remember this morning? You couldn't get your hands in between it? Look at there.
All kind of room.
Just gotta, now we decided to cut the other side and bring it out a little bit more like this here too. Yeah.
We got 2 or 3 sections welded in on the front there. And it's doing pretty good as far as flowing down the side. So yeah, I like it the way it's curving out better. It gives it more of a flared look. And the opening there, it's looking pretty cool. I mean, it ain't supposed to look like a normal truck. It's supposed to look like a race truck. So we got the bedside on, and it's kicking pretty out and kicking out, so we can cover the back tire a little bit. Still got a lot of welding to do, but it's getting there. So all we got to do now is, we got the,
And we put the
we're
water
getting a
pump
little closer to being able to break in the motor. We got a little water pump drive left over from the drag racing days.
and it is a Moroso to match everything else.
Yeah, too bad we can't leave it on there. She'll be a scalding dog hot rod with that thing. It'll be running 250, 280. A little too hot. But yeah, it won't be long. We'll be cranking it up, trying to break in that cam. Wish us luck on that. Just got my Summit lifters in there from post-COVID, so you know how good those parts are. We'll see.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for this week. Thank you for watching, and be sure to click the like and the subscribe button. But thank you, and we'll be back again next week.